There it is. Peak. We're finally here. Starforce 3. The first two games paved the way to what is unanimously agreed to be the best entry in the series. A lot happens here. Spoiler alert for anyone who cares. Megaman joins the Satellite Police, Geo's father is revealed to be alive and finally returns with the space milk, and Luna dies. Starforce 3 goes back to having the relatively serious tone of the first game and refines a lot of the mechanics already established while adding some new toys into the mix. This time the combat enthusiasts will get more mileage out of the post-game. The super bosses will make sure of that. In regards to the story, some familiar characters return and we get some lore that expands on the Starforce universe. I'm really excited that we get to talk about Peak, so without further ado, get yourselves comfortable and let's get right into it. We've defeated the Crimson Dragon and we've saved our planet. Now it's time to go back home with our dad and... I should have seen that one coming. Like Starforce 2, upon completing the main story, we receive an email that starts the post-game content. This time we receive a message from the Satellite Police, informing us about an occurring EM interference surrounding Wasa. We make our way to Wasa headquarters. Wait, you weren't there before. Y'all know we like danger around these parts, so naturally, we make our way inside the noise wave. Hello? Hey, what's that? It's okay, take your time, it's not like I have anything else to do. An Astro Hertz from another planet is sent to deliver an SOS message to Earth. An extremely powerful being is destroying their planet, and the only one that can save them is their brother from Earth. A king seeking help from a brother from Earth? Sounds familiar to someone we know. Someone that almost destroyed our planet. Yeah, he's a pretty chill guy. I'll help him out. There's not much going around in Noise Wave 4 other than a door blocking us from a blue mystery data. Gee, I hope that's not important. As we try to progress, it doesn't take long before we encounter our first roadblock. An NPC informs us that a big guy with a blue arm and a red arm was the one who locked the door. That, along with the information from the little satellite, we find the culprit behind the locked door to be Spade Magnus, or Spade Magnus R to be specific. And if we want to unlock this door, we have to find him and defeat him. The satellite doesn't give the specific location, only the general area he's located. We have to pulse into all possible access points in the designated area if we want to find him. I'll elaborate more on this in a little bit, but for now let's focus on finding Spade Magnus R. We find him in the mini antenna cybercore in Wasa headquarters. We try to get some answers on what's going on. Hey man, let's chill out, you tell me what's going on, and I'll go my merry way, alright? Magnus, however, doesn't really care about playing the Q&A game. He just woke up and chose violence. Look at this dude, saying he's gonna delete me? Yeah, alright, buddy. Spade Magnus is probably the easiest boss in the whole series. His attacks are very easy to dodge. He always does 2 missile attacks and afterwards turns himself into one. The counter hit window is very forgiving, and with the right cards and noise form, you can pretty much delete this guy from the game without any real effort. Taurus Fire when he's in the easiest boss competition and his opponent is Spade Magnus. Before deletion, he mentions the existence of the other R's. If it wasn't clear before, it's clear now. We're gonna find more of these guys along the way. The right side, the door is now unlocked, and we can finally proceed to the next area. And there's another door. Well then, this is basically how 75% of the post-game is structured. The doors are blocked by the R-bosses, and they only spawn when we interact with these little satellites, meaning you can't proactively hunt them to continuously progress. You have to go on this constant back and forth between searching the aforementioned R-bosses and opening doors to continue. It is as annoying as it sounds. The further you go, the more torturous it gets because the way back takes progressively longer. At least in Starforce 2, you had all of them within the same area. Thankfully, the added encounter modifier in the collection made it tolerable, and the anticipation I had for fighting difficult bosses was enough of a motivator to get me through it. The second R boss we have to find is Club Strong, and he's located in Luna's house cybercore. Wait a minute. Oh no, you don't. He isn't surprised to see us here. The R's have their own network, and Spade Magnus let them know of our current involvement. I can imagine Spade Magnus just sending messages to the others like, "Yo, so this blue guy just showed up? Hold up, I'm gonna take care of him real quick. Hey, you gonna be okay?" The R's are creations of their master. The R in their names stands for rebuild, as they are reconstructions based on the data recorded on a server somewhere in our planet. Their objective is to find suitable planets for their master's collection. That Astro Hertz with the SOS message? They followed him, and now they have set their sights on our planet, which is next on the chopping block. Our plan now is pretty clear. We have to defeat these guys to make our way to their master's hideout to save both Earth and the planet they're about to destroy. It's pretty weird how they already infiltrated Earth. Like, this master of theirs did not waste any time whatsoever. How did they even manage to get the data from Earth to reconstruct these guys if their master is already occupied with another planet? I guess we'll never know, but let me tell you what I know about Club Strong. He's not exactly a difficult boss by any means. Most of his patterns are very easy to note. That with his slow attacks make him an easy target for counter hits. Every step he takes will always form a grass tile and spawn a wood spike that covers that column. He has a slow club attack that is very easy to dodge and counter hit. He's also got a tornado attack very reminiscent to that of Apollo Flames. The difference here is that they get stronger and faster when they appear in grass tiles. He's also got an attack where he spawns these vine seeds. Getting hit by one of them would capture Megaman with vines and drain some of his health. Basically, it's Leech Seed from Pokemon. And then, the bane of my existence. I call this one the Whack-A-Mole. He closes with a barrage of club strikes in rapid succession. To this day, I still can't dodge this move consistently. And at that time, I was using Gemini form, which loses to every attack this guy has, so my whole plan was to get good and delete this guy before he'd use this attack. Still, it's a pretty fun fight, and I find this rock-looking golem with moss covering his armor to be really cool. With Club Strong down, we can now proceed to the next area. We've left the solar system and now we're in the center of our galaxy. Welcome to Outer Astral Wave. Omega Sys dropped some interesting lore details, such as Kelvin and his team building communication towers that created a wave road leading to Planet FM. It doesn't take long until the satellite admins make their appearance, and they confirm our suspicions. Well, they weren't really suspicions at all. It was kind of obvious if you played the first game that the king seeking for help was none other than Cepheus himself, the FM king that almost destroyed our planet. We also find out the mastermind's name is Sirius, and his ability is to control black holes. Hold on. I'm sorry. Why are we pretending like Mega Man can't do the same thing? He can literally create a black hole and slash that shit to create a supernova explosion that erases anybody and their whole ancestry from every single timeline. And you think this bozo is a threat? Anyways, we gotta stop this guy. Our next order of business is to seek out Diamond Ice and Dark Phantom R. Diamond Ice is located on the beach side inside the dragon statue, and Dark Phantom is in the secret shelter inside the air duct. Diamond Ice is basically a more annoying version of Plesiosaur. I don't know how that's even possible. She utilizes the surrounding ice to protect herself, as well as for certain attacks. I had to be cautious with mega attacks and pick the right moments, since the ice can invade my space and potentially interrupt my attack. Actually, there is one thing that can deal with the ice: break attacks. These completely shatter the ice, consequently limiting some of her offensive capabilities. She's most vulnerable when attacking, as the ice isn't actively protecting her during those moments. It's a really weird fight, almost too arbitrary for my taste. I wasn't running a lot of break cards, so my strategy just consisted of waiting for her to attack and retaliate as quick as I could. Gemini form didn't really help out a lot here. The ice would just protect her from any potential combos I was fishing for. I get what they were going for here, wanting to challenge the player's precision, and it's not a bad fight. While I think it's cool they expanded a little bit on Plesiosaur's gimmick, I didn't like it then, I still certainly don't like it now. Dark Phantom is pretty much the same as he was in Starforce 2. The only inclusion to his moveset here is that he now has these shadow claws that attack you passively. But other than that, he's pretty much the same. Watch my Starforce 2 postgame video. Outer Astral Wave 2 Electric Boogaloo. We get a little break from all the boss hunting. There are no doors stopping. Just kidding! This time we have to search for Wolf Woods, who is located in WBG Studios in the studio set Cybercore, and Cygnus Wing is in Spica Mall inside the Dentist Cybercore. Dude is taking care of his teeth. Love to see it. They both play almost the same as their Star Force 1 versions. However, they removed Wolf Woods' full moon transformation gimmick. Unfortunate, because I thought the feature added a little sauce to the fight and complemented its werewolf motif. There were pattern variations here and there, but not any drastic changes to how they were fought before. Initially, fighting returning bosses with the new noise mechanics felt a bit strange. Going back to Star Force 1 after playing SF3 made me feel like something was missing. It's staggering how the noise mechanics changed the dynamic between SF1 and 3. It's not that it retroactively ruined the game or anything like that. I just think it's cool we get a somewhat different experience from fighting familiar enemies enemies in new ways. The noise mechanics elevate these battles and delivers a more finalized, see what I did there, incarnation of the idea established in the first game. It makes the battles feel more complete, more fun. The level of mechanical agency it brings cannot be overstated enough. We continue on to Noise Wave 6. Another door stands in our way. How surprising. Wait, it opened? Yes! Finally a break from all the boss hunts. This door's requirement was to obtain 150 different battle cards. Don't misunderstand this with standard cards. It doesn't matter the type of card you have as long as you have 150 in total. What does matter though is our encounter with our next opponent. Wait, you're not even from this timeline. How are you here? How did your data get saved in the black hole server? Do black holes just surpass those limitations and transcend the boundaries of timelines? Well, whatever the case, he plays the exact same way he does in Starforce 2. This time I didn't use an Aqua folder. I was rocking an entirely different folder that relied on the usage of mega attacks. I had to be more careful around the fire geysers. I wasn't? We take care of this guy, and afterwards, Sirius decides to let his presence known. It's in this interaction that we get a taste of his personality. He comes across as very condescending, yet, funnily enough, he does seem to admit that Polo Flame might be stronger than he is. Yet, even when showing that small bit of modesty, there is still a condescending tone behind it. He later taunts us, stating how there are still more trials ahead of us. What he doesn't know is that we're anything but not resilient. We finally make it to Planet FM's Astral Wave. Cepheus shows up and gives us the rundown of what's going on. Planet FM has tried everything they could to stop the black hole from destroying their home. Despite this, it wasn't anywhere near enough, and now they only have 1 day to evacuate and 1 day for us to stop Sirius. With how dire the situation has gotten, Cepheus tells Megaman to go back to Earth, giving up the idea that his home could be saved. Now wait just a second. I've been going around on this wild goose chase, wasting my time on exploring all these cybercores trying to slay all these R bosses, and now that I've gotten this far, you want me to turn back? Okay. Yeah, right. Geo is adamant and ready for a fight. He's going to make his way to the black hole and stop Sirius. Not like he has a choice at this point, since we've caught Sirius's attention, his next target is more than likely going to be Earth. So at this point, going back was never an option. Can we talk about how this is the first time we get to see Planet FM? You can see it in the background along with the black hole that is getting dangerously close. Man, I would have loved to have had a Starforce game that let us explore Planet FM or different planets in general. Just imagine going around these different planets, the idea of exploring them, getting into some intergalactic conflicts where you get to fight different aliens. The Starforce universe just has immense potential that can be further explored. And this post-game showed me a glimpse of that idea that I wish would have been realized in some way. Anyways, enough yapping, let's get back on track. The next batch of bosses we got to look for are Moon Destroyer and Taurus Fire. Moon Destroyer R can be found on the school roof inside the memorial tree, and Taurus Fire is in the Crimson Factory inside the analysis unit. Taurus tried to play Among Us, but Geo instantly knew he was an imposter based on how Taurus called Luna by her name instead of her title Press.
I don't know, man. You've been seeming sus lately. It's almost like we have an imposter among us.
Taurus Fire for the most part plays the same as he does in the previous two titles. However, he did get some significant buffs that add to the challenge. One such addition is the ability Super Armor, making it slightly tougher to get combos started unless you get a counter or you're running builds that cause status conditions like paralysis, which is what I was running with Gemini form. They also gave him a new move called Anger Rush. He goes berserk and rapidly tries to hit Mega Man several times. This move completely caught me off guard the first time I saw it. He goes from this slow and predictable bull to this crazy fast killing machine, from a 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye. And it's not an easy move to dodge either. It is possible to counter hit him out of it. Paralyzing him is also another viable option. Paralysis once again shows how broken it can be. Moon Destroyer is a field boss you can find on Astral Wave. He's relatively easy to fight. He has a spin attack where he spins from one side to shoot blades that can inflict confusion, a break attack where he throws a comet at your direction, and a moonsault kick. His movement can throw people off at first, but it's very easy to detect when he's going to be vulnerable. I don't have any strong thoughts about this fight. He has a cool design and his animations do well enough to showcase his flashy personality, but I didn't find the fight itself memorable.
Open sesame!
that spell isn't gonna work a second time. The next boss is Queen Virgo. She's in the mall event area in the cat statue cybercore. The original Queen Virgo is one of the new bosses that can wave change with an Ephemian. I like how her waveform name is not only consistent with her affiliation with Dealer, but also incorporates the constellation theme from the Ephemian side. Virgo is the largest constellation of the zodiac, with the word itself meaning maiden. In stories and myths, this constellation is often associated with figures like Demeter, the Greek goddess of harvest, and Persephone, who is the goddess of spring and queen of the underworld. Given that Queen was literally royalty and one of her attacks is named Holy Light, it does seem like the devs took inspiration from those stories. Now, I can't say the same thing for the Ephemian Virgo. She is a complete psychopath in this game, which is also a trait that is seen with Queen Virgo R. They basically took the concept of the harvest goddess and flipped it on its head. What does this have to do with the fight? Nothing at all. I just found that really interesting. Moving on to the fight, Queen Virgo uses aqua-based attacks and has the ability Float Shoes, making her immune to panel effects like poison tiles. One of her moves is called Aqua Wave, a barrier of water that if hit will retaliate with a shock wave down the column, although you can pierce it with break battle cards. She's able to summon a Hydro Dragon that slowly makes his way towards you, that can be stopped by attacking its head. She also has a move that's similar to Sticky Rain, summoning rain to your panels. She's at her most vulnerable here. I was able to react fast enough to punish the attack and even get some counter hits in. Speaking of Sticky Rain, man, I can't wait to find Sticky Rain here. There's such a good battle card in the previous games. Having it here with the noise form? Think of the possibilities! Let me see where I can find it. What? Where is it? Why isn't it here? Not even as illegal data? What? This can't be. Sticky Rain! No! Our next target is... Of course. We gotta look for the sibling now. Why couldn't they just put them in one door? Why did they feel the need to make a door for each sibling this far into the dungeon? Thankfully, he isn't too far off. Jack Corvus is in the command center inside the main computer. Like Queen Virgo, the name Jack Corvus combines the poker and constellation themes. While Corvus isn't really part of the zodiac, his constellation resides very close to Virgo's, and it's one of the smaller constellations. Queen being the big sibling associated with Virgo, and Jack being the little sibling associated with Corvus. Do you see where I'm going with this? Corvus is also associated with a couple of Greek myths, one of them with a crow acting as a spy for Apollo, kind of similar to the mission Jack was assigned early in the game. Back to the boss fight though. Jack Corvus is immune to gravity and HP bugs, and he also has both float and air shoes. He can use his wings as a sickle that inflicts you with an HP bug. Throughout the battle, he summons 3 purple flames that travel down the columns at different times. This boss has a very interesting gimmick though, and that is that locking onto him while he's moving around will force him to take flight, effectively removing the lock-on. And the thing is that after he does it, he can either attack you or return to the battlefield. The move plays with your reactions and awareness a little bit. It feels like you don't know if he's actually going to commit to the offense or he's just messing with you. I was not aware that's how the boss operated, so I was struggling a little bit. It didn't help I was being very overzealous with my mega attacks, and very often whenever I tried to block the purple flames, if I wasn't in the right spot, I'd be put in a checkmate situation with his flight attack. Thankfully, we got through it. This fight was cool. I liked it. Y'all hear that? That's the sound of the door opening. Finally! There is nothing stopping us from getting into that black hole surface. Oh, for God's sake. We're not the only ones that have business with Sirius, as Rogue has a bone to pick with him as well. Geo does try to reason with Rogue, trying to get him on his side so they could stop Sirius together, but we all know what Rogue's stance is on bonds. Even though he has a bond with his wizard, but doesn't want to admit it. We find out that Sirius has stolen a Moo Medal, and Rogue is trying to get it back. For Rogue to regain the Moo Medal, he has to wait 2 days for it to rise out of Sirius's body. If Sirius is destroyed otherwise, the Moo Medal will be lost forever. There is a conflict of interest here. Megaman has to defeat Sirius as soon as possible to save Planet FM, but the Moo Medal is very important to Solo, representing his sentimental ties to his civilization. Our choice is pretty clear. Geo gets an awesome moment showing the growth he's had throughout the series, accepting that not everything can be solved with words. It isn't always enough to ensure the peace. Sometimes you have to risk your life to achieve that peace. Listen, I love Megaman.exe, but Geo might take his spot as my favorite Megaman. All of his conflicts, all of his personal struggles became a byproduct of the character he is right here. He has actually grown worthy of carrying the title of Megaman. And man, he's gonna kick Rogue's ass. Rogue is arguably the boss that went through the most significant changes. He does not waste any time summoning his sword, Lapless. There's still some familiarity here. He still contains the shield and it works like it does in SF2. His patterns are also very similar, although they toned down the speed, not making it as overwhelming as he was before. While he does have his sword, his attacks are a mix of both brawl and sword fighter. Some of his attacks remain the same as the ones from SF2 with certain variations, while Lapless brings some changes and additions to Rogue's moveset. Lapless can spin in a diagonal angle and Rogue will follow it with a ground break attack. His sword slash is also different. Instead of multiple slashes, he will do one slash. If it's not blocked, you'll be comboed with multiple invisible attacks. He will always attack in front of you, so if you have the timings down, you can get consistent counter hits. I mostly relied on the area eaters to prevent him from going for certain attacks, combined with Gemini Noise to stun lock him. This might be a new game, but you will never escape the stun lock, Rogue. The ZZ version is much more manageable to handle than the SX version. He still feels challenging, just not to the extreme he was before. Rogue admits defeat and backs off. With no other interruptions, we can now access the Black Hole server. It took a while, but we finally made it to the endgame. There's a cold vibe surrounding this place. The herds roaming are almost drained out of their energy, likely due to not being able to tolerate the power of the server. We soon run into Acid Ace R, but he's not alone. Dread Joker R makes his appearance. Even in their R forms, they still come as a 2-pack. Their characterizations is such a stark contrast from their real versions. Here they operate more as a team and even acknowledge they're stronger when they work together. It threw me off a little bit at first. Because they're working together, we have to fight them back to back. Keeping it a stack? Light work. Dread Joker has the ability Super Armor. His wide variety of attacks makes his next move incredibly difficult to predict, certainly living up to his name since the Joker card is known to be a wild card. He can summon black towers with one hovering over your head, while 2 of them remain on the battlefield, capable of restricting your movement. He has a double swing attack that covers your whole area and strikes twice, a Dread Laser that can cover the whole battlefield that can be blocked, he can go for a multi-hitting kick attack, summon a Break Bomb that can only be avoided by destroying it, and a stream of missiles that will rain down on your current location. This one is one of the harder moves to avoid. Despite all of this, I find Dread Joker to be a really fun fight. He has a nice variety of attacks that forced me to pay attention. If I got caught sleeping on the wheel, I would get put in the cake or missile blender. He's a very punishing boss, but not unbalanced enough to be labeled unfair. And for some attacks, you can even use his own towers against him. If you struggled keeping up with Dread Joker, you're gonna have a rough time with Acid Ace. He's a boss that is able to use battle cards at quick succession. Due to this, he's capable of countering all the elemental noise forms. That, coupled with his natural speed, makes him really tricky to deal with. They really took SF2 Rogue's speed and gave it to Acid Ace, huh? He has a lock-on attack similar to our own, moving to our position and slashing with the break attack. He has a wing blade attack that can only be blocked if Megaman is not directly in front of him. Like with Rogue SX, I found his speed to be overwhelming at first. Thankfully, he lacks a lot of the defensive abilities that Rogue had, such as the super armor and the barrier. It was just a matter of waiting and reacting on the very moment he was about to strike. It's a fun fight, all things considered. Acid Ace has among one of the coolest designs in the Mega Man franchise, period. His design is likely referenced from military aviators, or more specifically in this case, flying aces, who were renowned for shooting down multiple enemy aircraft. And you can see this being reflected in his gun and the wings, a connection further solidified by Ace's role as commander of the Satellite Police. Fun fact, these two actually have super boss versions known as Acid Ace BB and Dread Joker RR. In the original Starforce 3, they had a random chance of popping up after going through 20 consecutive PvP matches over Nintendo Wi-Fi, making them lost media. Until now. In the Legacy Collection, you can find them in Planet FM Astro Wave 3 and fight them without the former online requirements. Defeating them will earn you the AJ Silver Star. These Silver Stars are going to be important for something else later. For now though, let's carry on. With the last of the R bosses defeated, Sirius extends us an invitation. There is nothing stopping us from reaching Sirius and deleting him from the face of this universe. Or is there? There is one final door we have to open, and if you've seen my previous post-game videos or you're familiar with the games, then you already know what I'm talking about. Getting all standard cards. When I started this post-game, I've already collected most of the tier 1 and 2 cards. I grinded the tier 3s as I progressed along the post-game areas. However, there was one battle card I was missing that I couldn't gain through random encounters. Spirit Fury. See, this card can only be obtained by exchanging noise frags with a trader. There is one problem, however. The same noise frag trader also has a Giga card that we need to complete our Giga card library, and I only have enough for one of them. Now, I could have just bought Spirit Fury and grinded out the remaining noise frags, but someone descended from the heavens and was kind enough to bestow upon me Spirit Fury. Afterwards, I was able to buy the Giga card without problems. Shoutouts to Blue Star for helping me out here. He actually saved me some time from the whole grinding process. S-Star badge has now been obtained, and an ass whooping was about to go down. Whose ass is about to get whooped? Well, this might be a problem. Sirius, the same name as the brightest star in the night sky, a part of a constellation known as Canis Major, and that star is symbolized by the shape of his wings. Sirius is arguably the toughest boss to deal with in the game. He has super armor, status guard, air shoes, and float shoes. He can create a wall of barriers that only have 1 HP, yet completely disrupt any attack if not careful. When taking all of this into consideration, you quickly figure out that his defenses are top of the line. Getting in his line of sight when he stops moving will make him fire a yellow laser that can cancel out the effects of barrier and aura. His wings can fly down different columns to aim a Megaman. They can be destroyed, but personally I stuck it out with just dodging. Then there's the elemental lasers. He uses his wings and shuffles them around the field, firing lasers in different formations. Each laser follows an element, and one column can be attacked with more than one laser at once. I got hit by one of them, didn't go so well. His defense is the biggest hurdle I had to overcome. While I did beat his first version without a game plan, that wasn't gonna hold up if I wanted to obtain his mega cards comfortably. I could try to practice the counter hit timings. The barriers go down whenever Sirius attacks, so I could use that for reaction cues. But then I was told of a strategy that would completely change the whole battle dynamic, and it involved using one support card, Area Eater, or 2 cards if you want to count Double Eater. By using multiple Area Eaters, I can ultimately shut down the barriers and limit Sirius to just one attack, practically turning him into one of the easiest bosses in the game. It's almost laughable. Nonetheless, we managed to defeat his first version with a Black Ant Galaxy. The guy that can control black holes was defeated with a black hole. Yet, despite his defeat, he looks like he accepts it. Yet he still finds a way to screw with us. He transfers his powers to the Meteor server, the server where the Crimson Dragon resides, now turning him into Crimson Dragon SP. He's not done though, as he gives us the same Moo Metal Rogue was looking for, as a way to force Megaman and Rogue to fight for all of eternity. Then, he dies. Rogue shows up and confirms Sirius' claims. He was already in a constant ideological conflict with Megaman, but with the Moo Metal in our grasp, he now has a more tangible reason to delete us. But Rogue is a patient man. He's willing to wait for the perfect time to extract the Moo Metal. For now though, he was willing to let Megaman celebrate his victory. Yeah, that's very kind of you, man, thanks. Cepheus immediately appears afterwards and gives us his gratitude. I really like how we get to see how he's reformed since the Starforce 1 days, from a paranoid, manipulated, and distrustful king to a king more empathetic to his people and open-minded to trusting his friend. Getting to see these two interact after going through their own journeys was really nice. I really wish we could have seen more of this, but alas, it was not meant to be. Now that our job is done, we must go our separate ways. Cepheus goes back to his planet to deal with the aftermath, and us? We go back to ours. The job is not yet finished. Now at this point in the game, I was all about completing the libraries. Of course, I slaughtered the remaining B3 bosses so that I could obtain the remaining Mega Cards. Now for the Giga Card library, typically it's the easiest to fill out, but this time it took a bit longer than usual. Mostly because of one card, but we'll get to it in a bit. One of the Giga Cards I was missing was in the police headquarters. This satellite police officer will give you back-to-back missions, with the second mission rewarding you a Giga Card. The last Giga Card, however, oh boy. Remember that door in Noise Wave 4? Well, behind it is the remaining card. To open the door, you need to battle 500 times, and there is no way to know the exact amount of battles you've currently had. This is a whammy for any guy that turned off the encounter rates for the majority of the main story. I was that guy. I did battle a lot of bosses to grind illegal data, and I'm pretty sure they add to the count, but I was still ways off from the required amount. So I decided to indulge in the lunacy and put my encounter rate to maximum, and I'm pretty sure that I deleted half the virus population. Took me about a total of 2 hours to unlock the door. The moral of the story here is to not set your encounter rate off if you want to complete Starforce 3. With all the gold star badges collected, we could go to the Crimson Dragon and finish the game, but we're still missing some silver stars, and while they're not required for the post-game completion, they do unlock a stronger version of Crimson Dragon that I want to fight. There's also the Omega bosses, but we're not gonna do those. That's for the hardcore heads. We already obtained the AJ star, so the next one is the Rogue star. This one is pretty simple. Defeat Rogue ZZ, the strongest version of Rogue. There are some requirements needed for him to appear. In the original North American version of the game, you needed to input a code using the star badges. In the Legacy Collection, the AJ star is needed, as well as a purpose card. What are purpose cards? Basically, they give Megaman special bonuses when he finalizes. The Legacy Collection gives you many options to pick from, and if you have brothers, you can even gain extra abilities. After picking one, Rogue ZZ will be waiting for us in the Meteor G Control Center. Defeat him once, and you get star. Now only one silver star remains, and this one does require you to input a code. In this specific order, you have to press the stars S, G, S, M, SS, SS again, and the main story star. With that, the Sigma bosses become available. We're not talking about that Sigma. The Sigma bosses are just harder versions of some of the bosses we fought. They hit harder, but not much is different from the way they behave. Moon Destroyer Sigma was pretty easy, Sirius Sigma got his area eaten, and Apollo Flame, well, block. No! Yeah, he gave me problems. I guess not having Sticky Rain exposed me as a fraud, but I wasn't gonna let this stop me. It was only a matter of time before I finally achieved my victory.
You're done. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Let's go! Oh my god, dude! All the Sigmas have been defeated and we now have the Sigma Star, which means there is only one challenge remaining. Defeat the Crimson Dragon SP. Crimson Dragon continues the final boss tradition. Core is exposed, you inflict damage. This time though, the core is blocked by its head. By sufficiently damaging the head, it will cause it to split into two heads, exposing its core. You can still damage the heads and even destroy them, but it's a much better use of your time to damage the core as much as you can. Fragments of noise will spawn taking the form of missiles that are imbued with different elements. If I got hit by one I was weak to, it would reset my noise gauge. So during this whole part, I would just keep rapid firing to both damage the head and destroy the missiles. After some time, he will attack you directly, choosing arbitrarily from his moveset. One of them is using claws to slash different panels that you have to dodge. Another has him rapidly launching copies of its head back to back, covering the player's row. He can also launch a storm of noise that can pierce invis and remove barriers in aura, but the space it covers differs on whether it's using its main head or not. The main head covers the whole field. It's blockable, but the timing needs to be precise, very similar to Lemu's laser. If the heads are split, one head will fire the noise on one side before the other does it on its own side. It's still blockable, and now there's a small window to dodge it, so there's an added layer of counterplay, but if you're positioned in the middle, it will combo you, and it will hurt. My whole plan was to solely use the Buster to damage the head, and save my battle cards until the core was exposed. This fight is very chaotic. My reactions needed to be on point here, since many of the attacks are either very quick, or have very tricky timings that threw off my rhythm. In previous final boss fights, anybody could practically cheese them with Sticky Rain, but that's just not the case this time, which I think it's why Crimson Dragon is my favorite final boss in the series. Also, the scripted fight following it is raw as hell. I can't complain, they absolutely cooked. Once you've finished watching the credits, you will be congratulated for completing the game and be rewarded with a very sick ass looking wallpaper for the Hunter VG menu. Bro, look at the art! Oh my god. Look at that aura! Well, you would think that this would mark the ending of the postgame, and technically it is, but like I said earlier, I wanted to defeat the hardest version of Crimson Dragon, so I went to Outer Astral Wave 1, and lo and behold, he appears. I actually did struggle a lot against this version. Like, this guy has 6,000 HP, and one hit took like a quarter of my health. It's ridiculous. The claws were relatively easy to dodge as long as I paid attention to the panels. I wasn't as comfortable or confident dodging the rest of his moves, so at times I would try to fish for counter hits, unsuccessfully so, but after a couple of attempts, I managed to nail the timings of the counter hits and seal the deal, officially putting an end to my Starforce journey. GG's! GG's! Hardest boss in the game, baby. This noise fragment is my most prized possession. Nothing can ever come close to the worth of this noise frag. Gold? Nope. Oil? Nuh-uh. An E-tank? Maybe.
Yes.
All I know is that this noise frag is more valuable than Mr. Krabs' first dollar. I will cherish this noise frag for as long as I live. I'll take one copy of Spirit Fury, thank you very much. Pleasure doing business with you. This game contains what's possibly the most content-packed post-game in the Megaman series. Although I would be lying if I said that it's perfect. The amount of back and forth you have to do just to progress area per area adds unnecessary padding. If it weren't for the Legacy Collection's added features, it would have been a bigger slog to go through. Despite that, I still had a good time. The grind for the most part went more smoothly than in SF2, the fights were engaging, and surprisingly gave us more insight on characters from the first game. Like, we get to see a nice resolution to Cepheus' character arc. This postgame feels like the most fleshed out and manages to end things on a high note. While we may not have wanted this series to end, it achieved the satisfying closure it truly deserved.